Imagine this. You open your door, expecting warmth and connection, but the moment someone steps inside, the energy shifts. Conversations feel tense, the air becomes heavy, and your sanctuary no longer feels like a haven. Our homes are more than just four walls. They're sacred spaces that protect our peace and reflect our well-being. But what happens when we unknowingly let in the wrong people? Today, I'm going to share something that could change how you protect your home and your peace forever. 9 types of people, some of whom you might not even suspect, who should never cross your threshold. What I'm about to tell you isn't just theory. It's grounded in years of observing how relationships impact our mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. If you've ever felt drained, agitated, or uneasy after hosting someone, you already know the truth. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Stick around because these signs could help you reclaim the peace you've worked so hard to build. Grab a pen and paper. Or better yet, save this video because the wisdom I'm about to share isn't something you'll find in most books. It's learned through life's hard experiences. And trust me, you'll want to remember these insights for years to come. Let's dive in. Let me ask you a question. When you think of your home, what comes to mind? For most of us, is a place of safety, warmth, and rest. A sacred retreat from the chaos of the world. But what if the very peace you cherish is quietly being eroded by the people you invite in? As we grow older and wiser, one of the most valuable lessons we learn is that the company we keep has a profound impact on our well-being. Think about it. Every interaction carries an energy. Some people uplift and inspire you, while others drain and unsettle you. The truth is, your home isn't just a physical space. It's an extension of your emotional and mental state. And if we aren't careful, we might be unknowingly inviting negativity, chaos, or even harm into the very place we rely on for comfort. Today, I want to take you on a journey of self-awareness. We'll explore the 9 types of people who should never enter your home. Some of these might surprise you. Others might make you reflect on past experiences and think, that explains it. But all of them will remind you why boundaries are essential for protecting not just your home, but your peace of mind and your quality of life. This isn't about being harsh or judgmental. It's about valuing yourself enough to prioritize your well-being. So if you're ready to learn how to safeguard your sanctuary and ensure that every guest contributes to its harmony, stay with me. What I'm about to share could save you from years of unnecessary stress and regret. Let's begin. We all know someone who thrives on sharing the latest rumors, scandals, and secrets about others. At first, it might seem harmless, even entertaining to hear their stories. But let me tell you, the gossip brings more harm than you realize. When they walk through your door, they don't just bring words. They bring drama, tension, and negativity that can linger long after they've left. The thing about gossips is this. If they're talking about others to you, they're almost certainly talking about you to others. It's a habit, a compulsion to fill the silence with stories, often exaggerated or outright false. And when you allow them into your home, you're giving them a stage. Your private space becomes the backdrop for their narratives, and soon, you might find yourself tangled in webs of unnecessary conflict. Think about the energy they bring. Gossip thrives on judgment, comparison, and often a lack of empathy. It's not just words, it's an attitude that seeps into the atmosphere, leaving you feeling uneasy, even if you can't quite put your finger on why. And as much as they might disguise their intentions as just sharing or being helpful, the truth is, their words can cause divisions, misunderstandings, and harm, even to people you care about. If you're wondering how to handle a gossip in your life, the key is boundaries. Politely but firmly, let them know you're not interested in hearing about other people's private matters. Redirect the conversation to more positive topics, or gently explain that you value peace and privacy in your home. Over time, They'll either respect your stance or naturally drift away, seeking another audience. Remember, your home is a sanctuary. It's a place where you should feel safe, supported, and free from unnecessary negativity. By keeping gossips at the door, you're not just protecting your space, you're protecting your peace, your relationships, and your well-being. And that, my friend, is worth far more than a fleeting moment of juicy conversation. Envy is a dangerous emotion, and those who carry it can be just as harmful. When someone enters your home with envy in their heart, they're not coming to celebrate your joys or share in your successes. They're coming to compare, criticize, and often to undermine. The envious person looks at what you have not with admiration, but with resentment. And let me tell you, that kind of energy has no place in a space meant for peace. Have you ever had someone glance around your home and make backhanded comments like, "Must be nice to afford this," or "Wow, you're really lucky"? At first, these remarks might seem innocent, but if you pay attention, you'll notice the subtle digs, the forced smiles, the way they downplay your achievements or try to one-up you. Their presence isn't about sharing in your happiness. It's about masking their discomfort with what you represent to them. And here's the tricky part. The envious rarely admit their feelings outright. Instead, they might find small ways to belittle you, plant seeds of doubt, or even try to sabotage your confidence. It could be something as subtle as dismissing your hard work as just good timing, or making you question whether you deserve what you have. Over time, this can erode your sense of self-worth and turn your safe haven into a place of second-guessing and tension. So, what do you do when faced with envy? The first step is awareness. Recognize the signs, those subtle digs, the discomfort in their compliments, the way they seem to focus on what you have rather than who you are. Then, set boundaries. You don't have to confront them directly unless the situation calls for it. Sometimes the best course of action is to limit their access to your space and energy. Keep interactions polite but distant, and don't feel obligated to invite them into your home or your life if their presence disrupts your peace. Your home should be a place where you feel celebrated, not resented. By being mindful of who you allow into your space, you protect not just your physical surroundings, but also your mental and emotional well-being. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who celebrate your wins, and who inspire you to be better, not those who silently wish for your downfall. After all, life is too short to let envy take up residence where it doesn't belong. Manipulators are some of the most dangerous people to allow into your home because their intentions are never straightforward. These individuals are masters of deception, skilled at twisting situations, words, and even your emotions to serve their own agenda. And the scariest part? They often do it so subtly that you don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Picture this. A manipulative person enters your home and immediately starts observing, looking for ways to gain control. They might flatter you excessively, making you feel special, only to use that goodwill later to pressure you into something you wouldn't normally agree to. Or perhaps they bring up a personal favor, disguising it as something minor, but in reality it's far from innocent. They thrive on creating a dynamic where you feel indebted to them, even when you shouldn't. But manipulators don't just stop at favors. They're also adept at playing on your insecurities. They know exactly which buttons to push, whether it's making subtle comments that make you doubt yourself or creating situations where you feel like you owe them an explanation. Have you ever had someone guilt-trip you for not spending more time with them, despite their visits always leaving you emotionally drained? That's the manipulator's game. They make you feel like the bad guy while they quietly pull the strings. And let's not forget their ability to divide and conquer. A manipulator might pit family members against each other, spreading half-truths or outright lies to create tension. Suddenly, the warmth of your home turns into an atmosphere of mistrust, all because someone with an agenda wanted to stir the pot for their benefit. So, how do you handle a manipulator? First, recognize their patterns. Pay attention to how you feel during and after interactions with them. Do you feel drained, confused, or obligated to do things you don't want to? That's your first clue. Next, establish clear boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no or to question their motives. Manipulators thrive on compliance and silence, so refusing to play along often weakens their grip. Remember, your home should be a sanctuary, not a stage for someone else's games. By keeping manipulators out of your space, you reclaim your peace and protect the integrity of your relationships. Surround yourself with people who are genuine, honest, and respectful, not those who see your kindness as an opportunity to take advantage. Your home deserves to be filled with trust and authenticity, not manipulation and deceit. The eternal pessimist is a unique kind of presence, one that doesn't outwardly harm, but slowly erodes the spirit of your home. These individuals always see the glass as half empty, no matter how full it may be. They find a problem in every solution, a storm cloud behind every silver lining, and their negativity is like a slow-acting toxin, infiltrating the very air you breathe. Imagine this. You've just achieved something you're proud of, a promotion, a new project, or even a simple home improvement you've worked hard on. Instead of sharing in your joy, the pessimist tilts their head and says, "Are you sure it's going to work out? What if it's too much responsibility?" Their tone isn't openly critical. It's wrapped in a thin veil of concern. But the effect is the same. It dampens your excitement and sows seeds of doubt. The eternal pessimist thrives on subtlety. They rarely argue outright, but undermine positivity through a steady stream of cynical comments. Planning a trip? They'll warn you about the dangers of traveling. Considering a new hobby? They'll point out the time or money it might waste. Their goal, whether intentional or not, is to pull you down to their level of doubt and fear. But why do they act this way? Often, it's a reflection of their own inner struggles. Life may have dealt them a series of tough blows, leaving them wary of hope and optimism. Instead of facing their challenges, they project their negativity outward, spreading it like wildfire. While it's important to have compassion for their experiences, you must also protect yourself from being consumed by their mindset. Allowing a pessimist into your home can slowly turn it into a place of tension and heaviness. Over time, their constant doubts and complaints can make you second-guess your decisions, question your own happiness, and even feel guilty for being hopeful about your future. What should be a sanctuary of peace becomes a breeding ground for negativity. So how do you handle the eternal pessimist? First, acknowledge their perspective without absorbing it. Statements like, "I understand that's how you feel, but I choose to focus on the positives," can help set boundaries. Limit their ability to monopolize conversations with negativity by steering discussions towards solutions and uplifting topics. And most importantly, recognize when their presence begins to weigh you down. It's okay to distance yourself if someone's mindset is toxic to your well-being. Your home is your safe haven, a space meant to uplift and restore you. It's not the place for constant doubt or criticism. Surround yourself with people who inspire, encourage, and celebrate life's joys with you. By keeping the eternal pessimist at bay, you preserve your home as a beacon of hope and positivity, ensuring it remains a source of strength rather than a well of discouragement. The constant critic is a challenging presence to endure, especially in the sanctity of your home. This is the person who has an opinion about everything, and rarely, if ever, is that opinion positive. No matter what you do, say, or create, they find flaws, voice unsolicited advice, and leave you feeling less than capable. Picture this. You've just redecorated your living room, proud of the time and effort you've poured into making it your sanctuary. The constant critic walks in, scans the room, and says, "It's nice, but don't you think that rug is too small for the space?" And those curtains, they clash with the walls. It's not just one comment, it's a barrage of them, chipping away at your confidence and joy in your achievements. This type of person often disguises their criticism as helpfulness. They'll say things like, "I'm just being honest," or "I'm trying to help you improve." But their so-called honesty feels more like judgment, and their help often comes unsolicited. Instead of encouraging growth, their words tear down and leave you questioning your decisions and worth. Why do they act this way? At the core of their behavior is often insecurity. The constant critic projects their own fears of inadequacy onto others as a defense mechanism. By pointing out flaws in those around them, they temporarily lift themselves up. It's not about you. It's about their need to feel superior in a world where they often feel small. Having a constant critic in your home is like living with a storm cloud overhead. Their nitpicking creates tension, discouragement, and even resentment. What should be a haven of support and positivity becomes a place where you're always on edge, bracing for the next critique. How do you manage someone like this? First, recognize their behavior for what it is, a reflection of their own struggles, not yours. When they offer criticism, don't take it personally. Respond with grace and firmness, saying something like, "I appreciate your perspective, but I'm happy with my decision." Setting boundaries is crucial. If their comments become too much, don't hesitate to steer the conversation away or limit their visits. It's also important to reflect on how their behavior affects you. If you find yourself doubting your choices or feeling deflated after their visits, it's a sign to reevaluate their role in your life. You deserve to feel empowered and supported in your own space, not diminished by someone else's insecurities. Your home should be a refuge, a place where you can celebrate your successes and find comfort in your imperfections. By keeping the constant critic at a distance, you create an environment that uplifts and encourages you, allowing you to thrive without the weight of unnecessary judgment. The energy vampire is one of the most draining types of people you can allow into your home. They don't just visit, they linger, and when they leave, you feel utterly exhausted, emotionally spent, and perhaps even questioning your ability to recharge. These individuals thrive on absorbing the energy of others to fuel their own needs, leaving their host depleted in the process. Imagine this. You invite a friend over for coffee, hoping for a lighthearted chat. But instead, they spend hours venting about their problems, spiraling into a never-ending loop of complaints. You offer advice, a listening ear, and even solutions, but nothing seems to make a difference. They're not looking for answers. They're looking for a sponge to soak up their negativity. And by the time they leave, you're left feeling like you've run a marathon, emotionally and mentally. Energy vampires can appear in many forms. Some are perpetual complainers who always have a crisis to share, while others are overly dramatic, turning every small inconvenience into a life-altering catastrophe. They may also be individuals who demand constant attention, never allowing you a moment to speak or share your own thoughts. Whatever their method, the result is the same. They drain your energy while replenishing their own. Why do they act this way? Often, energy vampires are dealing with their own unhealed wounds or unresolved emotional struggles. They seek others to fill the emotional voids they carry, whether it's through sympathy, attention, or simply being the center of someone's world for a moment. Unfortunately, their inability to self-regulate their emotions means they rely on others as an emotional crutch. Allowing an energy vampire into your home repeatedly can have significant consequences. Your home should be a sanctuary where you feel at peace and recharged. But with an energy vampire present, that balance is disrupted. You might find yourself dreading their visits or even questioning whether you're a good friend or family member because they leave you feeling so depleted. So how do you handle an energy vampire? First, establish boundaries. If you sense a conversation or visit is veering into draining territory, steer it toward lighter, more positive topics. You might say something like, "I understand you're going through a tough time, but let's focus on something uplifting for a bit." If they persist in their behavior, it's okay to limit your interactions or suggest professional help if their issues seem overwhelming. It's also important to protect your own energy. Before and after interacting with an energy vampire, take time to ground yourself. Whether it's through deep breathing, a walk in nature, or a moment of meditation, recharging your emotional reserves is essential. Remember, it's not selfish to prioritize your well-being. It's necessary. Your home is your sanctuary, a place where your energy should be restored, not drained. By being mindful of the energy vampires in your life and setting firm boundaries, you can ensure your space remains a haven of peace and positivity. Ultimately, it's about creating an environment where you thrive, not just survive. We've all encountered the dramatizer, the person who seems to view every moment of life as part of a never-ending soap opera. They don't just live through events, they amplify them, stretching small inconveniences into epic tales of tragedy or conflict. When the dramatizer enters your home, you're inviting a whirlwind of chaos, exaggerated stories, and unnecessary tension into your space. Picture this. You're hosting a casual dinner gathering with friends. Everyone is relaxed, enjoying the conversation, until the dramatizer seizes the floor. Suddenly, the mood shifts as they recount their latest saga, an argument with a neighbor over a parking spot, an insult they overheard at work, or an imagined slight from a family member. The energy in the room changes as their voice grows louder, their gestures more animated, and their storylines more outrageous. What could have been a lighthearted evening becomes heavy, dominated by their theatrics. Why do dramatizers behave this way? Often, it stems from a need for attention and validation. They crave being the center of focus, and drama becomes their tool to achieve it. In their minds, bigger emotions and exaggerated conflicts equal more engagement and sympathy from others. Unfortunately, this can come at the expense of everyone else's peace of mind. Having a dramatizer in your home can quickly erode the sense of tranquility you've worked hard to cultivate. Your home is meant to be a haven, a place of comfort and calm, but their constant need for drama disrupts that balance. They pull others into their exaggerated world, creating an emotional roller coaster that leaves everyone drained by the time they leave. Handling a dramatizer requires a mix of empathy and firm boundaries. First, try redirecting the conversation when their dramatic tendencies take over. For instance, if they start recounting an overblown incident, you might say, "That sounds challenging, but let's talk about something positive that's happened lately." This approach acknowledges their feelings without feeding into the drama. Another strategy is to limit your reactions. Dramatizers often thrive on the energy they receive from others' responses, gasps, sympathy, or outrage. By staying neutral and composed, you subtly signal that their dramatics won't have the intended effect. A calm, steady demeanor can discourage them from escalating their behavior. If the dramatizer's presence consistently disrupts your peace, it's okay to set boundaries around their visits. For example, you might choose to meet them in neutral settings, like a coffee shop, rather than inviting them into your home. This allows you to control the duration and tone of your interactions while preserving the sanctuary of your personal space. Ultimately, your home should reflect your values and priorities. By limiting the influence of the dramatizer, You're safeguarding your peace and ensuring your space remains one of stability and comfort. Life has enough genuine challenges. There's no need to entertain unnecessary theatrics in the place where you recharge and restore yourself. The passive-aggressive individual is a master of subtle sabotage. They rarely voice their displeasure outright, but instead let it seep into their actions, tone, and body language. They might not yell or confront, but their silence speaks volumes, and not in a good way. Inviting such a person into your home means exposing yourself to a host of veiled criticisms and unspoken tension. Imagine this scenario. You've prepared a nice meal for a family gathering. Everyone is enjoying the food, but the passive-aggressive individual makes an offhand comment. "Oh, this is interesting. I usually like mine a little less seasoned, but it's fine." Or perhaps, when asked if they're comfortable, they reply with a forced smile and, "Oh, don't worry about me. I'll manage." These remarks, seemingly harmless on the surface, carry an undertone designed to unsettle you without giving you the chance to address the issue head-on. Why do passive-aggressive people act this way? Often, it stems from an inability or unwillingness to communicate their feelings directly. They may fear confrontation, but their resentment or dissatisfaction still needs an outlet. So instead of discussing their issues openly, they use subtle digs, intentional forgetfulness, or sarcastic remarks to express their discontent. The problem with passive-aggressive behavior is that it creates a toxic undercurrent in your home. It's hard to feel relaxed or joyful when someone is sending mixed signals or quietly undermining the harmony of the space. Worse, their behavior can make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly second-guessing their intentions or trying to decode their true feelings. Addressing passive-aggressive behavior requires patience and clarity. First, resist the urge to mirror their tactics. Responding with subtle jabs of your own only adds fuel to the fire. Instead, confront the behavior calmly and directly. For example, if they make a sarcastic comment about your cooking, you might say, "I noticed your comment about the food. Did you mean to suggest there's something you'd prefer different?" This approach gives them a chance to voice their concerns openly, while showing that you won't let veiled criticism slide unnoticed. Another strategy is to set clear expectations. If the passive-aggressive individual tends to forget responsibilities or agreements, follow up with gentle but firm reminders. For instance, if they fail to contribute to a shared event as promised, you might say, "I noticed you didn't bring what you agreed to. Is there a reason you weren't able to?" Holding them accountable, even in small ways, can discourage their tendency to shirk responsibility. Sometimes, though, the best course of action is to limit their influence in your home. If their behavior consistently disrupts your peace, consider inviting them less often or interacting with them in neutral settings. Your home should be a place where you feel at ease, not a venue for deciphering passive-aggressive puzzles. Remember, protecting your peace is not selfish, it's essential. By addressing passive-aggressive behavior head-on or setting boundaries, you're ensuring your home remains a space of clarity, honesty, and warmth. Life is too short to fill your sanctuary with hidden resentments and unspoken frustrations. The opportunist is the kind of person who views relationships as transactions. They are not in your life because they genuinely care or value you. They're there to see what they can gain. Inviting such a person into your home opens the door to exploitation, where every kind gesture, every ounce of generosity is met with silent calculation on their end. Picture this. You welcome an old acquaintance into your home, someone you haven't seen in years. You offer them a meal, a place to stay, or help during a difficult time. At first, they seem grateful, but soon their presence feels less like a visit and more like a strategic move. They borrow things and forget to return them. They casually ask for favors that seem small at first, but grow larger over time. Before you know it, their visits leave you drained, financially, emotionally, or both. Why do opportunists behave this way? Often, it comes down to their mindset. They view the world through a lens of scarcity, believing they must take whatever they can before someone else does. Instead of cultivating genuine connections, they focus on what they can extract from others, be it money, time, influence, or resources. The danger of having an opportunist in your home is that their behavior can erode trust and goodwill. While most relationships thrive on reciprocity and mutual care, opportunists exploit these values for their gain. They might manipulate your sense of obligation or guilt to ensure they get what they want. Worse, they often leave you questioning your own boundaries and judgment, wondering if you're being too harsh for wanting to push back. How can you protect yourself from an opportunist? First, recognize the signs. Opportunists often have a pattern of one-sided relationships. They rarely offer support when you need it, but always seem to show up when they need something from you. Pay attention to how they react when you say no to a request. Do they respect your decision, or do they guilt you into compliance? Next, set clear and firm boundaries. If they ask for something that feels excessive or unfair, don't hesitate to decline politely but firmly. For example, if they expect you to provide free lodging every time they're in town, you can say, "I'm glad to see you, but I'm unable to host you this time. Let me help you find another option." By standing your ground, you signal that your kindness is not a resource to be exploited. Additionally, limit their access to your personal space. Your home is a sanctuary, a place of comfort and safety. Allowing someone with opportunistic tendencies to frequent it can disrupt that peace. Instead, keep interactions in public or neutral settings where their influence is less likely to intrude on your personal life. Finally, evaluate the relationship honestly. Ask yourself if the connection adds value to your life or consistently drains you. While it's natural to want to help others, relationships should be built on mutual respect and care, not exploitation. Letting go of opportunists doesn't make you selfish, it makes you wise. Your home should be a place where you feel supported and safe. By recognizing and addressing the behavior of opportunists, you're taking a powerful step toward preserving that peace. Life is too precious to spend it surrounded by people who see you as a resource rather than a person. As we journey through life, the company we keep profoundly shapes our peace, happiness, and growth. Our homes, sacred spaces where we recharge and find solace, should only welcome those who uplift us, respect us, and genuinely care. When we allow negativity, manipulation, or exploitation to enter, it not only disrupts the harmony of our environment, but also drains our emotional and mental reserves. Recognizing the kinds of people who don't align with our values isn't about harsh judgment, it's about self-respect and wisdom. The energy vampires, gossips, manipulators, and others we've discussed today are often struggling with their own battles. But it doesn't mean we have to sacrifice our own well-being to accommodate them. Instead, by setting boundaries and choosing carefully who we invite into our lives, we create space for trust, love, and positivity to flourish. Protect your home. Protect your peace. It's not just about who you keep out. It's about ensuring that those you let in contribute to a life well lived. After all, your home is not just four walls. It's a reflection of the life you deserve. If you found value in today's wisdom, take a moment to reflect on your own space and the people you welcome into it. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you recognize any of these types in your life? Let me know how you've handled them. Don't forget to subscribe to John the Stoic for more insights and life lessons. Your engagement inspires me to dive deeper into these timeless principles and share even more wisdom with you. Together, let's build a life full of peace, respect, and meaningful connections.